binanggit mo kanina, 'di ba, yung hindi man bumoto kay Duterte pero nakaramdam ng awa. Pero meron ba kayong parang monitoring ng social media to somehow measure whether that is crossing over to other audiences aside from the base that was consolidated?
Right, and a great question. That's absolutely the right question. We do have a tool called QSS, or Quick Sentiment Scan. So far, base pa lang ang nako-consolidate. Yung mga soft, pero dati ng mga Duterte supporters. In terms of actual converting the sways, or yung mga unconvinced, or yung mga on the fence, kasi the thing with today's political dynamic, yung atmosphere ng ating politika ngayon, napaka-polarized eh. Wala nang gitna eh. Di ba? Wala nang gitna. Either you're one of three parties. You're either with the Marcoses, with the Dutertes, or you're holding, praying, shouting at the clouds for a third force to emerge. So wala na yung mga undecided, so to speak. But yes, definitely there has been a consolidation, and siguro a nice siguro anecdotal. Ewan ko kung na-discuss to ni Prof. Ronnie eh. Masyado kasi akong nalalamigan pag si Prof. Ronnie nagsasalita eh.
Ako rin, medyo nagkasinat ako pagkatapos ng panayam na yun. Sobrang lamig ng boses eh.
Sa lamig ng boses kasi, nag-earmuffs ako, so hindi ko masyado marinig lahat ng pinag-uusapan ninyo. No? I don't know if you touched on it, but the last survey, nakita natin, umakyat si Senator Bongo, number 1, tapos si Senator Bato, went from hanging on with the hair on his chin-chin-chin. Wala kasing buhok sa ulo eh, di ba? Biglang nag-shoot up. And this was after the impeachment. Impeachment pa lang yan. What more, di ba? This is the impeachment of the daughter. Nakita mo, nagkaroon ng they bit down hard. The Duterte supporters rallied. Oo, di ba? So, nagkaroon ng uptick. Vice Presidente yan, anak yan. Impeachment yan. What more, the saint of the church, so to speak, diba? The rock upon which the Duterte Church is built upon, so to speak, diba? Na si PRRD sinakay sa eroplano, tapos
religious. Nanonood si Bishop Sok eh, baka kinikilabutan yan eh, baka binabasbasan yung screen niya eh.
Mas takot ako kay Bishop Ronald Llamas. Yun, parang bishop na yun eh, di ba? Lahat ng mga barkada, mga pare, mga bishop, cardinal, ganyan. Very close, a man of the faith.
Yeah. Okay. Hindi, napag-usapan namin yan, pero nabanggit nga ni Prof. Ronnie na merong resurgence yung mga Duterte base rin sa kanilang survey, and yung susunod, baka doon naman may-measure yung impact dun sa mga kandidato nila sa pagkasenador nitong pagkaka-aresto kay dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte. Ngayon gusto kong puntahan Alan yung handling na Malacanang dun sa comms part nitong big project na ito, for lack of a better word, no? Malaking proyekto ito, no, para maisuko mo itong si Duterte sa ICC. Who could have imagined that it would proceed relatively smooth, 'di ba? Yung moments or yung long hours na wala masyado nakukuhang clarity when it comes to information from official sources, how was that exploited, that vacuum, by the other side?
If by the other side you're talking about the Duterte's PDPs, boy, it was exploited with, unfortunately, fake news. I'm not saying that they were the purveyors of fake news, but the TRO is the best example. During that limbo, during that the ghost period, so to speak, na the information was scarce, everything was in the gray. Naglabas sila ng kung ano-anong mga balita na may TRO. So yung mga supporters na ano sila, ayan, may TRO na, hindi na pala. In fact, the lawyers went to the Supreme Court of ours, nagkaroon ng mga posts. I think 2 legitimate media sources actually picked it up, that there was a TRO. So that's how that was exploited, no? Hopefully to sway. Kasi di ba, tell a lie 1,000 times, sometimes it becomes the truth, or often it becomes the truth. Di ba? So yun yung sinubukan nilang gawin. To your point naman about the admin, you use the word relatively smooth. I will I will get that and double it up. I'll take your relatively smooth and double it up to as smooth as it could have possibly gone.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? My goodness, the mighty, diba? The mighty bulletproof, airtight Teflon Rodrigo Roa Duterte. Naisakay ninyo sa eroplano within 24 hours and flew him out of the country. Wow, what a big win for the admin, no? That it went that way. Kasi in fact, I was saying, I don't know if I sent it to our group. Sabi ko, crucial yung 24 hours. Pag yan, si PRRD, FPRRD nakauwi at hindi nila nailabas yan sa Pilipinas within 24 hours, gulo yun. For sure, gulo yun. Yung nagkapukpukan ng cellphone, yung nagkaiyakan, nagka-deliveran ng pizza, magnify that 1,000,000 times kung hindi nila nalipad. But imagine, they were able to fly him out. The first thing PBBM said during his late night press conference, strines niya agad. He is outside the Philippine area of responsibility. Outside Philippine territory na siya. Kaya wag na kayong wag na kayong manggulo. Yung Supreme Court diyan, yung mga manggugulo sa Supreme Court, yung mga mananawagan, sorry, he's outside of our territory. Game over. There's nothing to do locally. So they handled it very well actually.
Okay, bago natin puntahan yung late night press conference nitong yung press briefing kasi sobrang brief ni PBBM, no? Isang revelation din dito, talagang ang lutong pala magmura ng mga anak ni Duterte, no? Iba klaseng lutong, no? Crunchy. Kung yung boses ni Prof. Ronnie, ang lamig. Talagang sininat ako pagkatapos eh. Medyo kinailangan kong maggamot eh. Ang lamig naman ng panayam na yun. Yung isa naman, ang lutong pala magmura talaga ng mga Duterte, no?
Pinawisan naman yung anit mo, di ba? Kung kay Prof. Ronnie napapajacket ka, ito naman napakamot ka ng bumbunan mo, di ba? Dahil pinawisan sa lutong ng pagmumura. But yun, that is indeed the message takeaway. But again, we shouldn't be surprised. That is the Duterte brand. That's precisely why I'm saying a pa-victim narrative will not fit hand in glove with the Duterte brand. Kasi on one hand, pabiktima ka, you're saying this is the airplane that took my father away. Actually, I'll touch on that also, no, na si Kitty yung naging de facto spokesperson. Another thing working against the victim narrative is it became Kitty. Si Kitty yung naging look at my poor father. All they fed him was a sandwich. This is the plane that they used to kidnap my father. We don't know where he's going. Blah, blah, blah. It's unfortunate for the Duterte side that Kitty is the one who became the mouthpiece because number one, everybody knows she grew up in privilege. Number two, she's relatively young. And number three, her social exploits are quite well publicized. Diba? Medyo medyo high society, social, she's a social, I've never met her. I've never had any interaction with her.
Party based sa mga
that's her image. So parang she makes a poor mouthpiece kung pabiktimang naratiba natin. Hindi siya relatable.
Okay. Tsaka yun nga, siguro function na rin ng limbo na binabanggit mo kanina dahil walang makuhang impormasyon. Understandably, dahil kung ikaw yung Malacanang, dapat quiet yan, di ba? Very controlled yung comms part. Ang nagfi-fill ng vacuum itong yung the likes of Kitty. Tingnan mo ba siya sandwich? Although madaling nasagot yun kasi nga, sabi ko, pwede ba namang sandwich na ipakain sa dating presidente? And true enough, lumabas yung larawan, masarap yung kain niya sa eroplano. Tsaka magandang higa. Okay. Hindi yung press con ni President Marcos. They think what was the objective and was that objective achieved by the president?
Well, the objective clearly was to communicate the hardline stance. The hardline stance being everything was done procedurally correct. The rule of law is being followed. This is all about accountability. 3 main points. Obviously, the admin is doubling down on those 3 main points. Nothing was wrong procedurally. Everything was followed. Ito, rule of law lang ang sinusunod namin. May warrant yan. ICC plus Interpol. ang authority. And 3 is, well, isama mo na ng konti yung this is not political, but who will believe that anyway, right? And it was intentionally, if I'm being honest, I think they intentionally made it that brief. Kasi kung ako ang admin ngayon, kung ako ang admin comms ngayon, siguro ipapaskill ko yan sa lahat ng opisina, lahat ng government agencies and branches. Business as usual. Everybody should just get back to business. Don't even talk about this. Don't even refer to it. Pag tinanong ka, it's just that. Rule of law, everything was done procedurally correct. Period. Let's move on. He's already away. Nasa Hague na siya.
And sa akin kasi medyo nabitin ako dahil I would have preferred that the president fielded questions himself, hindi yung nagkolekta lang si Secretary J. Ruiz. Secretary J. Ruiz.
Still getting used to that.
Yeah, 2 to 3 questions tapos siya yung nagtanong sa presidente. Iba pa rin kasi pag you're willing to field questions directly, di ba? Tapos sasagutin mo para malaman natin kung talagang you mean what you said.
Jump in the line of fire, yeah, of course.
Yes, oo. Para kasi ang lakas nung ang laki ng impact ng pagkaka-aresto Isipin mo isuko mo si Duterte, 'di ba?
Iba yun. Ito yung problema. If the admin kasi hyped it up and made it appear like a win, then their so-called political slip is showing. Then hindi, 'di ba? Medyo na rin sila dun They painted themselves into a corner and as far as that's concerned. Dahil pag masyado nilang hinype yan, ayan, nakita ninyo how peaceful that was, ang bilis lang. What a win. Maraming salamat sa kapulisan. General Torre, ang galing mo. Pag hinype up nila yan, then their political slip na mapopoliticize, makukulayan. When in fact, their official stance is this is not political, this is all about the rule of law, this is about accountability. All sides, all parties will have their day in court. Yun ang line nila.
Naniniwala ako doon tulad nung naaawa ko kay Duterte. So you think Malacanang handled the comms well, properly?
Well, number one, I think they handled the arrest as well as they could have. The timing for me was impeccable. The fact that they were able to fly him out within 24 hours, napakahirap nagawa. Kasi pag nag-persist pa si FPRRD dito sa Pilipinas, magiging martyr yan. He will become a symbol, El Cid. They will rally around him. They will, imagine if he was detained in Villamor or somewhere else. Diyos ko day, wala na. Nagka-standstill traffic na siguro ng ilang araw, di ba? But they were able to get him out, number one. Number two, they did it at a time when the Holy Week is coming up. So there's that Holy Week buffer pa. Bahal na araw. So if there's going to be any mass protests, kasagsagan ng summer, mainit, hard to organize a mass movement now. So it's so many factors in play that I think the admin was able to capitalize on, and they were able to do it as cleanly as possible. Sabi mo nga, smoothly, which is babalikan natin to years from now at sasabihin natin, wow, ang daming maaaring nangyari noon na hindi ka nais-nais. Pero dahil sa bilis, kumurap lang tayo, nandun na, nasa aeroplano na si FPRRT.
Alan, ito, seryosong tanong. Tapatan tayo. Tayo lang nag-uusap dito Do you honestly believe that Malacanang thought that far? And thought of all those factors, those elements that might come into play. O baka naman ikaw lang lahat naglagay ng
Hindi naman pwedeng tayong, meron tayong tinatawag na scenario mapping at RRK, Rapid Response Kit. Dapat ang tinitignan mo dyan, 11 days forward. Yeah, I don't know why it became 11 days. Ask John Podesta. Si John Podesta ang gumawa ng model na yan. 11 days forward dapat ang iyong RRK, Rapid Response Kit, tsaka scenario mapping. I'm sure ginagawa nila yan sa Malacanang. I'm sure, maybe Ian Esguerra is not so sure, but I'm sure there are clever and brilliant minds in Malacanang that do Podesta mapping, scenario mapping.
Kakayanin ba ni BBM tsaka ng kanyang mga tao na labanan itong onslaught of fake news coming from the other side? Kasi parang wala naman silang karanasan sa fake news eh.
Oh, you know what? Number one, your sarcastic font is not lost on me. Pero, sa totoo lang, sa ano lang again, yung word na anecdotally, ilang beses namin binato ni Ian Esguerra ngayong gabi. Pero anecdotally, actually hindi siya anecdotally kasi nasukat din eh. Ilan din mga academician ang sumukat nito, no? The troll army of the admin and especially their bloggers and vloggers have diminished. They're all but gone. Mag-isip nga kayo ng isang
Admin.
ng admin. Sorry, did I say admin? I did say admin, right?
Admin.
Mag-isip nga kayo ng isang pro-admin na vlogger/blogger/influencer na sikat. Wala eh, di ba? In fact, the last one, inappoint pa nila sa cabinet. It was Attorney Claire Castro herself. She was the last bastion of pro-admin, and even then, she wasn't outwardly pro-admin.
Parang hindi ko alam na pro-admin ba siya before joining the palace?
Yes, very much so. Her YouTube channel was not outwardly or not in your face pro-admin, but yes, definitely slanted. To be fair to is she a USEC? She's a USEC, yes? Is it USEC or ASEC level?
USEC.
Okay, so to be fair to USEC Claire, I would say she's admin leaning. To be kind, her channel is admin leaning. But apart from her, wala na. Kung mag-iisip ka ng online assets ng admin, wala na. Lahat ng maiingay sa social media, yung talagang may following, may clout, may legitimacy, and may constancy. Yung araw-araw, 5 beses mag-post are all the DDS supporter bloggers. So, to your question, anong magagawa ng admin with this onslaught of fake news? I'll tell you what they should not do. They should not call a Quadcom hearing to persecute these so-called peddlers of fake news that will backfire on them, definitely. They shouldn't use the long arm of the law, so to speak, or official channels upang balikan ang mga so-called peddlers of these fake news. Honestly, I would put the challenge and the onus on newly minted Secretary Jay Ruiz and newly minted USEC Claire to be the ones to always keep that constant stream of communication open para malabanan itong mga fake news kung meron man.